There may be a time when we feel powerless to prevent injustice, but there may never be a time when we fail to protest. Hello friends, welcome to the new series of Drishti IAS. I am Ritu and today's session is about Bharat Bandh. As you already know that Union Organization of Kisans had called for the Bharat Bandh today. So we are going to discuss that what is Bharat Bandh and also why there should be the reasons to protest. So moving to the points of discussion part. First of all, we are going to discuss the news, then we are going to discuss the right to protest and also the restrictions imposed to the right to protest, that in what circumstances we cannot have this much of protest, and also the judgments related to the right to protest and practice question for prelims. Before that, you have to like, share and subscribe to the Drishti IAS channel. Moving to the news part. So Kisan Samyukta Morcha is an organization who has called the protest like there should be the Bharat Bandh today. And why they are protesting, we already had discussed that they want a law that should guarantee the minimum support price, and also they want that the recommendation of what Swaminathan committee should be implemented, and there should be also that loan waiver to the farmers. There should be the proper law for the credit system. So these are the reasons that farmers are protesting, and on this midnight and all these circumstances, they had called for this Bharat Bandh today, since they are marching towards Delhi, and we can see that lots of barricading is happening in the Delhi borders, and farmers are restricted because of the nail wires and so much of the tear gas, and this has all created a situation of chaos, and the matter reached to the Haryana and Punjab High Court. The Haryana and Punjab High Court had also observed that the protesters have right to the protest because they are the citizen of this country and they have right to protest. But we should also look, and the government of Punjab, Haryana and Delhi should think about that. There should be the particular place decided to all these protesters so that the normal citizens have right to move and they can work efficiently. So these are the observation of the Haryana and Punjab High Court. It means that they had not disrupted the culture of right to protest, because this is the fundamental right of the farmers, but they have also taken care of the fundamental rights of the citizens who have right to move from one place to another place. So this is the news we are going to discuss, and what are the circumstances we have in the Bharat Bandh today. So they had called for the Bharat Bandh and they had asked other Kisan organization to unite for the Bharat Bandh, but they had also clarified that there are some circumstances under which this protest would not be called off, and they had opened their protest for the normal school admissions and also the students who are appearing for their board examination, the emergency services, the ambulance will not be closed, the medical stores will be open. So they have taken care of the emergency services, and in any emergency circumstances there will be no Bharat Bandh today, but for the normal circumstances there will be the Bharat Bandh today, and that's why the farmers are protesting against this. So moving to the next slide, which is about the right to protest. So right to protest has not explicitly mentioned in our Indian Constitution, but it is a part of right of freedom of speech and expression. And as you already know that Article 19 of the Indian Constitution talks about the freedom of speech and expression. So here we are going to discuss in detail that what are the provisions we have in the Article 19 of the Indian Constitution. So Article 19 1A says that right to free speech and expression transform into the right to freely express an opinion on the conduct of the government. In this case also, the farmers are expressing their opinion regarding the conduct of the government, because they had asked the government that they needed a law on the MSP. So this is their opinion and this is their freedom of speech and expression. On the other hand, right to association is required to form association for political purposes and for other purposes. So here we have also seen that so many Kisan organizations are calling for the protest. So they have right to form the association. So on the behalf of association, they are asking for the protest. Also, we have that these can be formed to collectively challenge the government's decision, but there is a clause also in our Indian constitution that we have right to protest, but that protest should be in a peaceful manner. It means that arms and weapons should not be used in any kind of the protest. So Article 19(1)(c) says that right to peaceably assemble allows people to question and object the acts of the government. So they can peacefully assemble at any place and they can tell their opinion against the government or in the support of the government. So this is their right. And also in our Indian constitution, in the Article 51A, we have discussed about the fundamental duties of the citizen, and under fundamental duties it has been written that there should be not that you cannot harm any public property. So it is a fundamental duty of the citizens that you cannot harm any public property. And in many protests, in the last protests also, that there were few elements who have harmed the property of the country. So whenever, if any organization or if any individual is protesting against the government or for any reasons, they should be always take care of this scenario, that there should be the no harm for the public property and also for the lives. So it should be mandated in this scenario. And why right to protest is mandatory and necessary for any democratic country? Because it acts as a watchdog, that citizens are watching the government's activities, and if they are not happy, if they are not satisfied with any acts of the government, they have right to protest against it. So it acts as a watchdog, and it also provides checks and balance to the government's conduct. So that's why right to protest is demand and also need of the hour. Moving to the next slide. So next slide is about the restrictions. So we already know that in Article 19(1)(c), it has been said that we have right to peacefully assemble at one place of time, and there should not be use of weapons or any kind of property harm. So there are few restrictions under which right to protest can be ignored and can be neglected and can be managed. And what are the provisions we have, and what are the restrictions in which right to protest cannot be conducted? So the sovereignty integrity of the India. So when there will be any threat to the sovereignty integrity of the India, safety of the India, security of the people, in the case of contempt of court, defamation, then in these circumstances it is the right of the government and right of the court to intervene into this matter. So these are the restriction areas under which the people can call off their right to protest, and the government and the court has right to say that you cannot protest onto these grounds because your protest has these kind of the elements. So these are the elements we have. And as I have already told you that Article 51 says that to safeguard the public property and observe the violence. So we should be always careful about that. We should not conduct any kind of violence during the protest, and also we should not harm the public property, and no life should be compromised in any kind of the protest. So these are the restrictions which we have related to the right to protest. Moving to the judgment part. So Supreme Court has highlighted few judgments regarding the right to protest, and the most popular judgment can be seen into the case of Shaheen Bagh, when the Shaheen Bagh protesters were protesting against the implementation of CAA and NRC. Under that circumstances, Supreme Court have observed that the protesters have right to protest, but the daily lives of the people cannot be compromised, and blockage of roads should not be done because the daily lives of the people are managed. So these are the observation of the Supreme Court onto the Shaheen Bagh case. Similarly, we have another judgment in 2018 under Mazdoor Kisan Shakti Sangathan versus Union of India, and another case. Under these circumstances also, the Supreme Court has not ignored the rights of the protester, but they had also focused on the interest of the general public, and they had said that the interest of the general public should not be ignored into any right to protest kind of situation. On the other hand, in the Ramlila Maidan incident versus Home Secretary Union of India and ORS case, which had happened in 2012, the Supreme Court has observed that it is the right, fundamental right of the citizens that they have right to protest, and it cannot be taken forcefully or arbitrarily or without any solid reasons. It means that we had already discussed there are few parameters onto which we can restrict the right to protest, but without those parameters you cannot snatch right to protest from the citizen of this country. So this is the judgment related to the right to protest. Moving to the question part. So the question is, on which ground restriction can be imposed on right to protest? Sovereignty and integrity of India, security of the state, defamation, contempt of the court. And we already had discussed the elements. So I know you are able to answer this in the comment section. I hope you like this session. If you have any queries related to this session, kindly ask in the comment section. Thank you.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.